Welcome. In my corrective exercise video, I'll be talking about the anterior cruciate ligament injury, or most commonly known as the ACL injury. The ACL injury is either a sprain or a complete tear of the ligament which connects the femur to the tibia. This injury commonly occurs when an individual makes non-contact deceleration, such as sudden stops, changing directions, jumping, and landing. Sports like basketball, football, and soccer are the most common to this injury. The client's injury was caused while playing soccer, as one of the sports that's on the list. We will first look at the individual's static posture on all three sides: the posterior view, the anterior view, and the lateral view. When looking at the anterior view, you can see that his left knee is a bit more dropped, and his feet have slight pronation. This can be an overactive gastrocnemius and underactive hamstrings. In the posterior view, we can see that the left leg is protruding out a bit more than the right side. And finally, in the lateral view, we can see that the line does not go straight down from the starting point. His ankle is a bit behind, which stems from the knee injury, and it can be seen as a forward lean, and this can be because of an overactive soleus. The first test I conducted was a single leg squat to really focus on his knee injury. In the video, we see that the second time he squats, he loses balance and shows abnormalities. His knee moves inward and he shows a hip drop. The biceps femoris short head can be overactive, and the gluteus medius and maximus might be the underactive. The next step we did was a range of motion test for each knee to compare a healthy knee to the one with the prior injury. We performed a flexed knee extension on both sides. We noticed a knee extension limitation due to it being underactive during rehab. In the manual muscle testing, we tested the client laying facing down to test the hamstrings. We first tested the hamstring with the foot inverted, and the client has to prevent from me pulling the foot back. We did the same motion but with the foot everted. In both instances, the glute max assisted from preventing the foot to be pulled back. After the range of motion and the manual muscle test, we look at the results, and for the knee extension with the goniometer, the normal range that should be hit is 20 degrees. But on the right knee, the test showed 17 degrees and the left knee showed 13 degrees. This is lowered due to the ACL injury. For the manual muscle testing, we tested the hamstrings and the results was rated as a 2, which leads to being underactive and the quadriceps overactive. Once all the testing has been done, we can begin the corrective exercise continuum. This includes 4 steps to better the muscles that are overactive and underactive. The phases include inhibit, lengthen, activate, and integrate. The inhibitory phase releases tension by SMR, or self-myofascial release. We first started foam rolling at the hamstrings. We then did the opposite muscle in the quads, and finally released the tension on the knee through the IT band. The lengthening phase increases the range of motion and tissues. We started stretching the quads from a standing position. For the IT band, we did the leg crossover with crescent moon stretch. And finally, we ended the phase by stretching the hamstrings with the client laying down and crossing the foot diagonally across his abdominal area. The third phase is the activation phase. This increases the activation of the underactive muscles. The first exercise we did was the ball hip thrust. We then moved onto a machine to do leg extension for the quads, and lastly we did a leg curl to activate the hamstrings. The last phase is the integration phase. For this phase, movement involves the use of dynamic total body weight exercise. We started with the ball squats to put focus on slow movement for the knees. We then moved to the normal squats with no assistance. The last exercise we integrated was sidewalks. This can be progressed with bands around the upper legs and eventually around the ankles. Thank you for watching my corrective exercise.